What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the shift. Nick Earnsall tried to give me a good countdown there. I
It
did
was
not get a
awful.
good one. It was awful. It's okay. But I am trained. Look, we both work in the radio industry. We are both trained to adapt when we need to. So I adapted there.
See, the
But hello.
problem is when you just click the button, it just starts. So there's no
Right.
countdown; it just goes, and like
It's,
it could take a minute or so.
yeah,
Like
come
I
on,
don't know how long
StreamYard.
it's gonna
That's on
till we
StreamYard.
go
Let's go,
live.
dude. Let's go,
So
StreamYard.
yeah.
But shout out to StreamYard as well because our platform that we're able to use. So, Nick, how you doing today? First and foremost, I got to be respectful to you. I got to have manners. How are you?
I am fantastic, Francisco. Second show already. Like we're already here. We're already into our second one. We've already done multiple shows now. I'm excited, man. We're on our way. We got another great show coming next week too. But hey, we're right here right now. We still have a lot to talk about.
Hell yeah. So it's a good thing you mentioned that. Just a little teaser.
Teaser.
Start of next week, most likely, before it starts for sure. We're going to have a World Baseball Classic preview show before it starts. We're psyched for it. I can't wait. The U.S. hopefully hoping for a win, but overall hoping for a great World Baseball Classic. But let's stick to Major League Baseball today, Nick, because obviously there's a lot of there's a couple of bad news, a couple pieces of bad news. There's also some great things to look forward to on today's show, and with Major League season coming up. But Nick, we're gonna do our next piece of divisional outlooks later in the show. We're gonna get to that, but first we got to start with the bad news. Sometimes you got to get the bad out of the way. But I do want to spend a few minutes on this, Nick, and talk about a really unfortunate situation. I think especially was going to be a huge piece for the Los Angeles Dodgers going into the season, especially with the San Diego Padres, locking up Manny Machado now. Tatis coming back. The Padres are looking, like a juggernaut coming off the season, where they were in the NLCS. The Dodgers, unfortunately, lose Gavin Lux. It was a base running injury, I believe, and it comes out. I think it came out yesterday. Dave Roberts told the media that Gavin Lux is out for the season with, I think it was a right torn ACL, I believe.
Yeah, and
And
he
go ahead.
it was also some of his LCL. He had some damage there too. So it was a brutal injury. Brutal.
Yeah, supremely brutal. And I don't know if you caught any of his. He talked to the press, I believe, yesterday, and man, he was extremely emotional. How could you not? He was talking about like, man, it's everyone's dream, to play shortstop for the Dodgers, and it's a really, really unfortunate situation. Man, he was very emotional, like I said, and the Dodgers, man, moving forward. I don't know. I guess they signed Miguel Rojas. Um, you have Chris Taylor, who's a very versatile player. He's proven that he can be an all-star in the past. But the Dodgers were counting on Lux, and I was too. If you look at his numbers this past season, it seems like he had taken a step up from his first few years in the big leagues, and it seemed like he was really ready for a breakout season. I think all the Dodgers fans were, and all of us baseball fans in general. Gavin Lux has been one of the more exciting prospects in baseball, coming up, over the last 3 or 4 years. And Nick, this is just gutting. I guess, the Dodgers usually have in the past have relied on depth, but I just don't know what they're going to do. I guess you rely on Miguel Rojas, Chris Taylor. He's probably going to split time there between shortstop and the outfield. But like, this is first off, I want to get your thoughts though, Nick, when you heard of this news, when you heard he was out for the season. What were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big loss for the Dodgers. I mean, Lux batted 276 last year. Has really come into his own. He's still a very young player, 25 years of age. Yeah, I mean, this is a stinger. I mean, to be out for the entire season, and like what, we're only a couple games into spring training right now,
Yeah.
and he has to go down with an injury. not just an ACL tear, but like I mentioned before, partially the LCL was damaged too. So, I mean, this is a legit serious injury for him going forward in his career. Hopefully he can bounce back going forward into the future of his career with the Dodgers. But man, I mean, last year played 129 games, played really well, 471 plate appearances. He was solid last year for this team. And after losing Corey Seager, after losing Trey Turner, I mean, now it was his time to shine, right, in that Dodger lineup. So to have him now go down, I think this is a big loss. And with the emergence of the San Diego Padres, I mean, they made it to the NLCS last year against those Phillies. So I mean, they're on their way. They re-signed Manny Machado. They made a lot of moves in the offseason, and I know we're going to get into the NL and AL West later in the show. But yeah, I mean, the Padres are coming along, and to lose one of your top players, young players in Lux, this is a huge loss for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I mean, going forward, yeah, do they go with Rojas? Does Mookie Betts play a little more infield? Do they mix and match defensively? We'll wait and see. I mean, but the Dodgers, I think they're still really talented. They're still going to compete for a division title in a playoff spot. But man, to lose Lux like that after, he had a really good year last year. He's coming into his own. And, with losing Trey Turner, it was his time to shine at shortstop. And now that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. This seems like, I guess the type of offseason they had, the Dodgers didn't go out really and get anybody like huge household names. Like JD Martinez, I guess, was the biggest one. They lost Justin Turner.
Hayward.
Yeah, I guess Hayward's swing
Rojas.
They're talking about Hayward's. I guess Miguel Rojas was a good look. Miguel Rojas, a really, really good defensive player, but his bat hasn't been there, at least lately. I think I read earlier today that he has a career 672 OPS plus or OPS, and last year he had an OPS just above 600. So, Miguel Rojas getting a little older, maybe. That obviously hasn't stopped him defensively, but man, like I'm looking at the Dodgers lineup and I'm like, okay, it's Mookie, it's Freddie, it's Max Muncy. I have it in front of me here in the roster resource from Fangraphs. Will Smith, great hitter. JD Martinez, really not getting any younger. He doesn't have the type of power that he had a couple of years ago with the Red Sox. Still a good hitter though. You brought in David Peralta. Like Peralta, he's a nice player, but I don't love David Peralta. And then you got Trace Thompson, Vargas, who's one of their, highly touted prospects. And then you have Miguel Rojas. There's just like, and I get it. They do have the number one, at least according to the Athletic, Keith Law, they have the number one, farm system in baseball, but I just don't, I was looking through their top 10 list. It's not like there's a whole bunch of shortstops there either. They have this guy, Yanni Hernandez, who they picked up.
They're not ready.
It's just that's what I'm saying. They're not ready. So
not for this season.
This is for me. I'm looking at the Dodgers and I'm like, man, like you said, we're going to get into it later, but how are they going to really? I mean, it's tough, man. It's just I really wanted to start off the show with this because, man, I think a lot of us fans were really, really, ready for Gavin Lux to break out, and it just sucks. I mean, get well soon, and hopefully he's ready for the get back coming next year.
Yeah, I mean, losing Trey Turner, losing Justin Turner, no more Bellinger. I mean, he didn't provide much offensively, but I mean, it doesn't seem like the Dodgers are this gigantic powerhouse as they may have once been before in years past. I mean, especially now losing Lux. I mean, the depth isn't as much as it was in years past.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think losing Lux, this is a big loss because he's such a young player. He was on the rise, and to have such a gigantic injury like an ACL tear, I mean, that's a serious injury. I mean, we see these type of injuries across sports. So yeah, I mean, losing Lux, I mean, losing Seager and Turner in the past 2 years to free agency, and now Lux to injury. I mean, they're just having a lot of trouble at shortstop. So it's going to be imperative for Rojas to step up. I'm very curious to see how they mix and match that infield throughout the entirety of the season this year.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so get well soon, Gavin, and we're all pulling for you, for the get back next year. Just like I told you before the show, just kind of how Dustin May went down just about a year or two ago, and now he's back, and hopefully better than ever for him as well. So, speedy recovery to Gavin. So let's obviously we have to get into this, Nick. Hence the name of the show, The Shift. Again, obviously we're going to beat that dead horse until it is maybe not even no longer dead. Maybe we're going to revive it. So we're never going to stop beating that dead horse, right, Nick?
No. I mean, we're going to talk about this. I think it's just going to be a storyline just throughout the entirety of the season. People are very fascinated by the rule changes this year, and they're already seeing the effects of it already. I mean, first day of spring training, first game played, you're already seeing the effects of the pitch timer. So yeah. I mean, this is going to be a storyline for a while. It might die down as the season rolls along and people get used to it, but you're still going to be talking about, especially if games are ending on the pitch timer. So an automatic strike, automatic ball. So, it's going to be talked about for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to, what I want to say, and I don't know who the Red Sox TV guy is that called that Red Sox Braves ending to the, just for anyone that doesn't know, Red Sox and Braves, full count, bases loaded, ninth inning, 2 outs, of course. And I forget who was up to bat. It doesn't matter. It was spring training. Who cares? And the game ended on a pitch timer violation from the hitter, and the game was over. And I love the way that the Red Sox announcer or commentator, kind of went through that, and he's like, "Wow, like." Look at that baseball in 2023. Yeah, I'm sure you saw it, right, Nick? You saw.
Yeah, of course I did.
No, I know you saw it, but did you hear the call?
Yes, I did. He was going nuts. It was a great call. Absolutely. I mean, if you're seeing it for the first time, you're gonna get excited like that. I mean, when I called games down in Wilmington last year, there wasn't a game that ended on an automatic strike or automatic ball, but I did see innings end in big situations with runners on second and third. It's like a 1-run game. I've seen that happen. So this is what's going to happen this year. You're going to see situations like this. Players forget. And before we recorded this podcast, Carlos Correa was up to bat against Andrew Painter in his first spring training start. He started walking away from the batter's box and forgot he has to be back in there and looking at the pitcher with 8 seconds to go. So they're still getting used to it. Baseball is such a routine thing for these players. Like they're creatures of habit. They're in their routines. They have to now break them this year. Something they've done for years and years and years, they have to break.
I love it. And, I'm like, Nick, you knew this already. I texted you during the Derek Hall when he was on first base just a couple of minutes ago before we started the show, man. Derek Hall was on first base. I forget the guy's the Twins pitcher's first name. His last name is Ober. And he threw over to first base twice. And then, if you throw over the third time, it's like you gotta either pick him off. Right.
Don't throw it over again.
Hall was smiling, and I loved it. I'm like, yes, I'm ready for all this. I want all this drama. I love it. It's perfect. So I like how it's gone so far, Nick. Like, the first spring training game I watched, I believe, was the Mariners and the Padres about 3 or 4 days ago, and I think Machado was the first one to get called for an pitch timer, right? Yep. Pitch timer infraction. And he I think, look, man, he's making a lot of money. I don't think he really cares. He just got extended $350 million, but he didn't really, it didn't, and again, it was spring training. So that's probably another reason why he didn't care, but sits there and just the reporter asked him about it. And he was just like, I guess I'm just going to be down 0-1 a lot this year. I'm like, yeah, it's nice to say that when you're $350 million richer. But in all seriousness, I haven't seen too much craziness so far, man. I think Jason Stark kind of, predicted in an article in The Athletic and said, like, be prepared for the crap show, whatever you want to call it. And it really hasn't been that way so far. I haven't seen too many guys go crazy so far. Have you, Nick?
No, I don't think anyone's really going crazy. I did hear Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. They were 2 pitchers who were on the broadcast, or at least I know Zach Wheeler was on the broadcast. They talked to him after a start, and he was talking about how he didn't like it at all. He thinks it messes with the game. Yeah, the pitchers don't like it. I can tell you that firsthand. They're not gonna like it. They're just gonna have to get used to it. I think it was easy. It's easier down in the minor leagues because these guys are younger. They can adjust a little bit more. Guys who are in their 30s have been in majors for a long time. It's gonna be a ginormous adjustment for them. Guys who aren't, kicking dirt, picking up the rosin bag, stretching, wiping the sweat off, can't really do that anymore because they want to get the game moving. And so I think it's going to be an adjustment for these pitchers. I've heard a lot more talk about the hitters adjusting. The pitchers have to adjust. I mean, I think this really affects the pitchers more so because they're such creatures of habit. I mean, they're in such a routine. I know batters are too, but I think it's every single pitch. I mean, you're going up there for one at bat. Pitchers are going up against multiple batters in an inning. So I think it's going to affect the pitchers, especially the ones who have been around for a long time. What's it going to be like for the Justin Verlanders of the world, the Zach Wheelers of the world? How's it going to affect them? I mean, these are guys that have been in the league for a long time, and now all of a sudden you're telling them that they have to be moving on the ball and get that pitch off. It's going to be an adjustment. They're not going to like it, but this is where the game is right now, and it's where Major League Baseball has talked about for a long time, and it's where it's been heading. So just get used to it at this point. I mean, it's great. You're moving the game quicker. I don't have a problem with it.
I'm like, man, look, I'm already used to it. You know this. Like, I told you I was excited for it. I know you were too. And like the thing I just mentioned with Derek Hall, like I'm riveting. I'm like, I love it. I'm like, come on, throw back over there. Let Derek Hall take like a 40-foot lead trying to get over to second base. Come on, I want all of the drama. But the Zach Wheeler thing was it was kind of funny the way that unfolded. Wheeler just like, I don't like it. He straight up just said, I don't like it. There was a long pause between Tom McCarthy and I believe it was Ben Davis. And I think T-Mac or Ben Davis said, so you're not, what did they say? You're comfortable with it and you don't
something
like
along the lines of that.
Something along you're like, you're getting comfortable with it. And he was just like, I don't like it.
He just doesn't like it.
And such like, it was on brand for Zach Wheeler.
Oh, yeah.
But look, I think you mentioned Nola too. Like, I think they both know that this is what it is. Look, Wheeler's making $120 million over 5 years. Like, buckle up, buddy. You've been incredible, and just keep being incredible. But you got to, they know that they're going to have to deal with what it is. And look, I think the strategy is going to be interesting going forward, Nick. How the pitchers adhere to these new rules, how the hitters adhere to these new rules. There's going to be some strategy that goes along with it. I want to mention I don't understand the pitchers wanting the new ball. So apparently the pitchers can still request a new ball, but the timer doesn't get set back. So I don't know. How do you feel about that, man?
I don't think it's going to be as much of a problem as some people have talked about. I get if they want a new ball, it's a gray area. I feel like I don't think it's going to be that much of an effect because you're going to want to keep the game going. You're not going to want to hold up the game every single night, every single pitch, asking for a new ball. But it's something that definitely could affect it down the line. I don't see it really being a factor. I didn't see it in the minor leagues last year. It didn't really happen. It's up to the umpire's discretion too if they want to restart the clock, how strict they're going to be with things like that of stopping the game. Especially when the ball boy comes out to switch baseballs with the umpire, you got to hold off on starting the clock and things of that nature. So I think that. I don't see it really being that much of an issue. I get people have kind of made it out to an issue. They could switch the baseballs out and the clock's not going to. I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. I think the umpire should know and kind of feel out the game a little bit. Say, hey, if we need to stop the clock, we will. If we're going to keep it rolling and it's affecting the game and we're going to call it an automatic ball, then they'll do that. So I think spring training is going to be a good way to kind of get used to everything and work out the kinks a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm wondering when is it truly, because nothing has been an issue yet. No. And I hope it's, but we all know, and nothing's perfect, and we all know that at some point something's gonna happen to our regular season game. God forbid a playoff game. Like, what if that? Like, you can't tell me the 3-2 count with the bases loaded is gonna come down to a pitch clock violation in the World Series or a playoff game.
That's my concern. a little bit
Because
is the
I tried to
playoffs.
look it up. Like, it doesn't sound like they're not going to enforce it in the playoffs.
Like
So, like, how is that going to work?
that's my thing. I don't think I don't know. Do you take out the timer like past the seventh inning in a playoff game in the World Series? Like, are they gonna want a game like an NLCS to end on an automatic strike, an automatic ball, like game three or game
They
four, like a
can't.
pivotal game? You know what I
They
mean?
can't.
So I think that's something Major League Baseball is really gonna have to take a look at after this season. Like, if something monumental happens in the postseason, I mean, wow, you're gonna end games that way in the biggest spot of the entire year. I don't know. I think maybe you make adjustments to the playoffs. I mean, in other sports, like the overtime rules are adjusted in the playoffs, right? Are you gonna adjust the pitch timer rule in the playoffs? I don't know. I think most people like no clock in the playoffs for baseball. I think everyone enjoyed last season's baseball in the
Okay.
postseason. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to affect the postseason. We're not there yet. I think this is a great regular season tool. It's a great regular season
Absolutely.
tool for sure. But in the playoffs, I don't know. I don't know if I'm
Playoffs.
sold on it in the playoffs. Playoffs, play to win the
Playoffs.
game.
Right. But it's just going to, I don't know, man. Like I said, I tried to do some research the other day. It just doesn't seem like, I don't know. I haven't gotten a concrete answer on that. So I'm curious to see how Major League Baseball is going to handle that, because maybe it's like, maybe in the playoffs, it's like, seventh inning or later, we get rid of the pitch timer rules or whatever. You because that would make sense to me. Maybe, get rid of it after the seventh inning. Maybe keep that in the regular season. But
Yeah.
even a regular season game, if it comes down to a 3-2 count, you know what I mean? Like, what if it's a wild card race? What if it's a pennant race between the Phils and the Mets or Braves? I'm just going to keep it hometown. Like,
Yeah.
what's going to happen then? What if it's like it comes down to the last game of the season and it's that type of situation? I don't know, because I don't love that. I don't love that, man. Like, I'll give you one more example. Serena Williams, I forget which U.S. Open this was, but she lost, or it was like a huge point in the match for her, and I think in a final of a major. She lost because of a foot fault. So when she served, her foot, I think, barely, like minimally touched the
Oh,
baseline. And I think she lost because of that, or it was a key moment in the match. And that kind of gives me those same type of vibes with baseball, where it's like, man, even like the eighth inning, it's
yeah.
like a 3-2 game. Like, there are big moments in certain games that, like, it just can't happen. Like, I'm really nervous about that, but we're not there yet. I'm trying to take baby steps, Nick. Just talking about the baby steps of the rules in baseball, right? We talked about that last episode. Baby steps. So I'm going to try to calm down, but baby steps.
Nothing will change until something gigantic happens. We're gonna keep it the way it is until something like that happens. It's a wild card race. It's coming down to the final games of the season. Gigantic moment. Runners on second and third, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, 1-run game. Game ends on an automatic strike. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people aren't going to be happy. One fan base is really not going to be happy. The other one's going to be celebrating because, hey, it's just the rules now, right?
Look at us. Look
Um,
at us.
yeah. But is Major League Baseball going to want to put up with that? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to want the backlash, because then it's going to be like, yo, the reason this game ended was because of that. I don't know. It's something that isn't going to be talked about, I think, as much until it actually happens. And once those situations unfold, and you are going to see a lot of pushback on some of these rules that have been changed, and you're going to see tweaks to it, I think, in the coming years. I don't think it's going to be set in stone like it is now. I think something will eventually happen to make Major League Baseball kind of tweak the rules a little bit and make the product a little bit better, just so, in monumental moments, things aren't going awry.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think it's really up to Theo Epstein, Rob Manfred, everybody in the commissioner's office to predict, do your best to try to predict this for the make sure it doesn't happen in big games. I don't know. I'm curious to see. But yeah, I think so far so good though, Nick, with the new rules.
Oh
So
yeah.
let's go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, spring training, yeah, it's been great. I think it'll be great for the regular season. It's just those crunch time games. How are
Yeah.
people gonna react? That's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I love drama, bro, but like I don't know if that I don't think baseball needs that type of drama where we're ending on, big pitch clock violations in the eighth or ninth inning in a postseason game or a pennant race type of game. I don't know. But all right, so let's get to our divisional outlooks week by week. We're going with each division from each league. So last week, if you want to check out our episode from last week, we did the NL Central and the AL Centrals. Let's be real. We had to get the weakest divisions in baseball out of the way. Exciting, intriguing storylines in those divisions, which we talked about. So go make sure you check out our last episode. Scroll down after you're done listening to this episode and go check that out. To check out the AL and NL Central, little outlooks there. So today, Nick, what do we got? Tell me the two divisions that we have on tap today.
So we're moving from the Central to out West. We're going AL West, NL West. Two pretty good divisions. I'll tell you what, these are two fun divisions for sure. A lot of storylines, more than the Centrals. I mean, wow, both Central divisions didn't have a ton. I felt like this week. I mean, we could go anywhere with each one, but I say we start in the AL West, Francisco.
Okay.
Let's start out there, out West in the American League. We'll start with the defending World Series champion, the Houston Astros. Now, they don't have many holes. I think it's pretty obvious they should win the division this year. It shouldn't be close. They did bring in your guy, your sleeper.
It shouldn't be close. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Shouldn't be close. The Astros are going to
go ahead. Hey, it shows Seattle.
Are you talking about the Mariners? Really? Are we going to go with the Mariners? You think the Mariners?
No. Hold on. No. I want you to talk about it first. And then I'll give you. I never said Seattle's in the division, but I'll let you go first.
They're not. Nobody's beating the Astros in this division. It's not going to be close. The Astros are too good. Do you want me to go through? I'll go through. Let me go through.
All right, here we go. Now I got Nick going. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
The Astros are minus 200 to win the division this year on BetMGM.
Right, this is sports bet.
Plus 300. Plus 300 are the Seattle Mariners. I'm taking that to the bank. It's not even close. And then I'll go over some of the over-unders. The Astros on Fangraphs, 90 wins, 95 wins as well on Projectus. So, yeah, I think they'll be okay. The Mariners are 84 wins and 82. Angels are 82. Now, I think
that's a disgrace that the Mariners got 82.
82 wins. They have
them behind. Dakota or Fangraphs? I don't even know which one you're using.
Which one?
Which one are you using? Which one are you using? Fangraphs?
Both. I'm using both. Yeah, Fangraphs. Okay, Fangraphs has the Mariners at 84. The Angels.
The disrespect is unbelievable. Go ahead. Jesus Christmas. Go ahead.
The Rangers are at 81, and those Oakland A's are at 68, according to Fangraphs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, let's actually. I'm going to start backwards here, Nick. Let's just get Oakland out of the way. Oakland, they're going to finish at the bottom of the division. That team's going to move to Vegas. I don't even. Who the heck is there? Is Christian Pache there? He might be.
Seth Brown. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Brett Brown.
No, not Seth Brown.
Seth Brown. Yeah.
Seth
Brown. There? Yeah, Seth Brown. Yeah, whatever. I mean, Oakland doesn't have too much out there. I don't look, man. They're kind of the Rockies of the AL West. So we're gonna get to the Rockies in a second too. The A's, I mean, they're a team that, the baseball wants them to move to Vegas. So they're hoping that they win 40 games this year. I didn't know they had Jesus. They had Jesus Aguilar. Go ahead.
I saw a stat. I forget what it was. Oh, the Big House. So the Big House in Michigan, right? Football stadium in college.
Yeah.
They had more total fans in 8 games than the entire 81 game schedule of the Oakland A's in the Coliseum last year. I think that was CBS Sports. I saw that.
It's weird, but that's a great stat right there. It's weird because I actually kind of like the A's stadium because of the nostalgia of that stuff that's happened there. Obviously, the 2002 Moneyball A's, had history there with their 20 game win streak. Even the Jeter, flip to Posada in I think it was the same year, 02 divisional series, even though that wasn't on the A's. That was, I don't know. It's still the A's are really a historic franchise. I think they're kind of like one of the more, them and the Cardinals are one of the more underrated franchises in sports, as far as like, winning championships and like the history goes. But I'm looking at their roster right now, and they're just really nothing to talk about, man. Like
No.
Paul Blackburn, James Caprillion, like I mean Trevor May's there, but I mean I don't know.
Wow.
There's really not that much to talk about with the A's there, man. But let's get into I guess I mean you want to get into the Astros and Mariners.
All right, let's
Let me
do it.
you want to no, hold on, but before we get there, because I
All
think
right, we'll do that last.
we both agree that the Astros and the Mariners are probably 1 and 2 in this division, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
I
we'll
agree
talk
with
about it
that.
in a second. Angels and Rangers are interesting ones to me. Because the Angels, you can never really trust the Angels, but I mean they have a good team on paper, right? I mean, look, you still got Otani and Trout there. I'm trying to think of who else is there. I don't have it in front of me right now.
Uh,
I'll pull it up, but uh,
Renfro, Drury,
Renfro was
they
always a big
added.
one.
They added Drury, Brendan Drury, another ad. So I mean they have a good team on paper. I mean, I think the pitching's improved over time. But it's the injuries, man. Can they stay healthy?
Yeah, I agree.
Can they stay? That's why you can't trust them. Are they going to be able to stay
No,
healthy? And then if if they're not healthy and they're not winning, they're kind of on the outside, maybe a third wild card. What do you do with Otani? Are you just going to move him at the deadline? Like I like that.
they don't
Like
want
I
to.
think
I don't get what Artie Moreno wants to do. I mean, he's probably one of the worst owners in sports right now. I don't know. I don't really know what they want to do there.
yeah,
Like,
it's like if they're not in contention for anything by midsummer, yeah, I mean, do you have to think about moving Otani to maybe kind of restart? Is that where you're at with the Angels? Like, I don't know where
I
they're
mean, I
at
said that
right now.
last year. I said last year that they should just move Trout and Otani and just restart, but they don't want to do that. They don't really have any idea what they're doing. They're like the kind of the Philadelphia Flyers of
Yeah,
Major League Baseball.
pretty
So like,
much.
but honestly, like on paper, like I kind of do like some of the moves they made. Like I like the Drury move. I like the Renfro move. I think that gives them some pop in the middle of the lineup. I mean, Rendon's a big one because Rendon needs to, like you talked about health. Rendon needs to stay healthy. And is he even going to be the same Anthony Rendon that he was 4 years ago? Because that's really the last time we saw Anthony
Yeah,
Rendon. That was Anthony Rendon was 2019. But he's 32, 33 now. Can't stay healthy. Jared Walsh didn't really have uh, a season to back up his 2021 where he went off, hit almost 30 home runs. Seemed like a good compliment to Otani and Trout, but he was underwhelming last year. Logan O'Hoppe, I mean, we know about him here in Philadelphia. I think the Angels like him, obviously, but besides that, like I do like some of the rotation. Otani, Tyler Anderson, Patrick Sandoval, Jose Suarez, Reed Detmers, who pitched a no hitter last year. I like their rotation, but Tyler Anderson had one good year out of how many? Um, so it really comes down to I think health for them and the Rangers because that's who I kind of wanted to compare it to. Nick was the Rangers like are the Rangers with them? We were getting DeGrom and Evaldi and Andrew Haney and um, it's just about can they stay healthy? And even like Corey Seager over there, can he stay healthy? Right? Can Corey Seager stay healthy? Um, so I don't know. I was kind of going back and forth on the Angels and the Rangers, and man, I just trust the Angels actually a little more. I just think the Rangers made a lot of risky moves that could work out. They could work out.
very well.
Maybe they could make the wild card, but man, you're counting on DeGrom, who hasn't been healthy in a couple of years, to come in and be healthy. He's not getting any younger. So I don't know. I like the Angels a little more. Actually, it's weird I say that, but I like the Angels more at this point.
Yeah, I mean, with DeGrom, I mean, he's pitched no more than 92 innings since 19. That's what they're counting on.
Yeah.
They're counting on him staying healthy, and he just hasn't. He just hasn't with the New York Mets. So yeah, I mean, they added some back end rotation, like you mentioned, Evaldi, being one of those guys. I don't know. It's like both these teams. I mean, they're both at plus 1,000 to win this division. They're both kind of evened out. The Rangers right around 81 wins according to Fangraph over under, and the Angels 82 wins. So they're kind of on the same type of level. Can each of these teams stay healthy? That's really what's gonna come down to. Are they gonna be able to keep guys on the field? And if they do, they have a shot maybe to get that final wild card spot in this division, because we know the Astros are probably going to win and the Mariners will be in second. So we know they're both those teams are ahead of them.
You like to take these little shots, don't you?
I love it, man. I love it. I love messing with you. It's fun.
I'll allow it, Nick. I'll allow it. Just for the show, I'll allow it. All fair, you're going to get your ass beat. Just kidding. Just kidding. So here's my thing, right? All right, so let's start somewhere we agree. Let's be nice to each other, right?
Okay.
I have the Astros winning the division. I'm not saying that. But you're not giving Seattle any chance at all. You're
not to win the division.
Why not? Have you looked at their roster?
Yes, they have a great roster. They had a great year. They added Cole Long. They added AJ Pollock. Julio, Rodriguez is phenomenal. Yeah, I think they're a good team.
Have you looked at their rotation?
Smoked last year. They got smoked.
I know, yes. Okay, and they're a team that's building for the future. So that for them to lose and okay, whatever. Yeah, they lost in the divisional round. Fine. They work. I wasn't expecting. No one was expecting them to win the World Series.
Astros are just on a different level, Francisco. I mean, they're deep everywhere. The bullpen, the starting rotation, their bats. They're really only holes catcher.
Oh you got two guys that can win a Cy Young right now: Luis Castillo, Robbie Ray. You have Logan Gilbert. He's a you know about him. He's a young phenom.
Yes.
George Kirby, super great arm. Marcos Gonzalez, he's good. He's not, but he's a good fit starter. He's a great fit starter. What am I talking about? And then look, I mean, their bullpen, man, Paul Sewald, Andres Munoz. Oh my God,
they have a great team.
Yeah, they have a really good team. But to say they're not going to compete with the Houston Astros at all, I think that I have Houston probably winning like between 100 to 105 games. Maybe I know it's a lot. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch.
So you're going to take the plus 300. You're going to take the plus 300 on Mariners.
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Listen, Seattle is a very good team that could win 95 to 100 games. And that's close. That's going to be a close divisional race. I agree with you. I like Houston, especially they added Jose Abreu. We talked about that last episode. I thought that was a really good addition. He's going to have a big year. But you mentioned Julio Rodriguez. My God, he's only getting better. And the kid's like your age. He's like 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, he's ridiculous.
You guys are the same age. You guys can probably hang out. So, you got Ty France, he's been great. He's been one of the more underrated players in baseball, in my opinion. Teoscar Hernandez. I mean, my God, that was a great. I forget it was a trade, right? Trade with Toronto in November. Great trade. I love that. I love him hitting in the middle of this lineup. Eugenio Suarez is still showing that he could be one of the better power hitters in baseball. My gosh. Cal Raleigh, oh my gosh, one of the better catchers in baseball last year. We all remember his home run last year. I think that was to send them to the postseason. I forget. It was an iconic home run. But Cal Raleigh, Jared Kelenic is a big one. I will say that. I'm just going through the lineup right now. Kelenic needs to have a big year for them. Maybe not big year, but he needs to take a step up because to compete with Houston's lineup. And again, I'm not saying that Seattle is going to win more games than Houston. They're not. But it's going to be a close race. This is going to come down to September. We're going to be looking at them in the race and seeing Seattle or Houston, vice versa, 1 and 2. And it's going to be, it's going to be just a few game difference. It's going to be close, bro.
I don't know if it's a few game difference.
Well, what do you see? How do you see it?
I mean, Astros are probably going to get 95 to 100 wins. I don't think the Mariners are going to get 95 to 100 wins. I think they can get 90, 92. I think it'll be probably about a 5 to 6 game difference.
You think Seattle? Because I had the Phillies. Well, I shouldn't say how many wins I have. I don't want to say that because we're going to say that for next show. Because obviously we're going to be doing the East next show. But I had the Phillies around the same win range. Like I think the Mariners are better than the Phillies. I'm just being real.
I understand. Baseball prospectus does not.
Oh, look at
you're going to hate this. 82 wins over under.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. How dumb is that, bro? How dumb is that? Tell me.
No, that's ridiculous. I really do.
I know you know that.
I think the Mariners improved greatly. I just think the Astros are too good. They're on a different level. They are a dynasty type team, and they still have great pitching. They still
They
have
do.
Valdez. They still have All Garcia. They have so many good pitchers on this team. Their lineup is great. And you even mentioned it last week with the addition of Jose Abreu, takes the pressure off him. He could have a big year this year. So, and they have one of the best players in baseball in Yordan Alvarez. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous to think that the Mariners are going to win this division. I know you think the Astros are going to win, but I don't think. Listen, they were over 100 wins last year. They won the World Series. I mean, they pretty much swept their way to the World Series. They swept everyone. I don't. The Mariners are going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a wild card team. They're just not going to be. They're not going to overcome the Houston Astros. I just don't see it happening.
Okay, so let's get. I'll let you start. Tell me, go down the list right now. Just give me, a win-loss prediction for 1 to 5. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go Astros. I'll give them 100 wins.
Okay.
I'll give them 100 wins. The Mariners, I'll give 92 wins. Angels, I'll give them 80 wins. Rangers, I'll give them 79 wins. And the A's, who cares? Doesn't matter. Who doesn't matter? They're not even. Doesn't even matter.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So I had the Astros winning 101 games.
Okay.
To be specific, I have the Seattle Mariners winning 96 games. I think the last week of the season, the Astros might pull away a little bit, but the Mariners will make the playoffs. Will make the wild card. Probably get that 1 seed in the wild card. Okay. And then
we're
I had
agreement. Then we're pretty much in agreement. We're in
you
agreement.
Said 92. I said 95, 96.
Yeah, but we're in agreement. They're both good. The Astros are going to win, and the Mariners will be probably the first wild card. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's going to be a close race.
I don't think it's be as close as you think. I think the Astros are going to pull away.
Okay, that's fine. You do you. All right, so I got the Angels at. I want to say I got the Angels at like 84 wins. I'd say Angels will be there maybe for a wild card spot this year. That'll be interesting.
They stay healthy, yeah.
I don't know what the Angels are going to be though. Like at the same time, like I think they could be an 84 win team, but I'm still like my mind's like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It could be worse this year. It could be that 73 last year. It could be 63 this year. I don't know. But it would be good for baseball if they play well. So I'm kind of rooting for the Angels at the same time. I'll go with Rangers at 79. I just think the injury. We talked about the injuries. There's just going to be too much. Too much has to go right for them, and we'll see. Because you know what, I'm rooting for them too because I think they could be good for baseball as well. And then, like you said, the Athletics. I'll go like 28 wins.
Oh Lord, that's foul.
Nah. Just to be respectful, their last year in Oakland, I think we think it's going to be. I'll go 64, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
I was going to say like 55, but I'll be respectful because I think that's a little too disrespectful. So I want to do that.
It is.
All right. So let's get to the National League West. Now, we did talk about this a little bit already. Let's just get it out of the way quickly with the team that's going to finish 5th. I mean, obviously, it sucks because the Rockies have – they've had some great superstars over there in the last 5 to 10 years with, Arenado and Tulo and Matt Holliday, Charlie Blackmon. Right. Charlie Blackmon. And they've had some, really good players there in the past. They just don't know what they're doing. They traded Arenado a couple of years ago, and it looks really bad now too. I don't really have anything to take away with Colorado. I mean, their Pacoda projections have them slated at 65 wins. I mean, that's probably about right.
Who is their most notable offseason signing?
Nobody.
Or acquisition, I should say.
I think no, but I don't think they did. I think they gave
Jones. Nolan Jones from the Guardians, who batted .224.
I didn't even know they got him.
Yeah.
I mean, here you go. Talk about batting average. Goodness gracious. Oh, I got to deal with this. I'm looking at their lineup right now. I like Ryan McMahon. He's a good player. He's a good young player.
You don't have to be nice. They're gonna stink this year. I'll just say,
give him some respect.
No, they're gonna stink. Listen.
I know you.
Their ticket prices for like a front row seats are about like $9. So nobody cares. Nobody wants to go to their games. It's
Can you
sad because
confirm that? You
Coors
confirm that
Field,
$9?
it's cheap. I do have
There you go.
some people that went to games last year because I know a few people out in Colorado, but they're not going to be good. They're not going to be good this
Definitely
year.
not going to be
It's
good.
sad because Coors Field's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah, they got a
Colorado
good sports
fans
town
deserve
there.
better.
Denver's
But
a good sports town, so
yeah,
it kind of
so
sucks for them.
it's sad. Yeah,
Yep.
but they'll be
So
bad. They're a dead
yeah,
last.
yep, I agree with that. So the Rockies, not too much to talk about there. I'm going to go with the next two teams who we don't. I think we're probably both in agreement. Are probably third and fourth in this division, but I think it's interesting because I think these teams could be close in win-loss record. Coming up this year, the Diamondbacks. I know you're excited because you're a prospect guy, Corbin Carroll over there in Arizona, and the Giants, who they're an interesting one because they added Michael Conforto, Mitch Haniger in the offseason.
Ross Stripling as well.
Ross Stripling as well. You're right. But those are some wild cards for me. I mean, Michael Conforto hasn't played baseball in a couple of years. I mean, Mitch Haniger, can he stay healthy? Ross Stripling, I mean, yeah, he had a good year, but I don't know. Over the course of his career, he's only had really a couple of good seasons or stretches. So I don't know, man. What do you think about San Fran? What do you think about Arizona? Do you see a disparity here, and do you think it's going to be a big stretch like it was with the Astros and Mariners, or do you think it's going to be a slightly smaller, little slap between them?
I think the Giants will finish in third in this division, just
Okay.
over the Diamondbacks. I think they're just a little more talented. But, the Giants had big offseason plans. I mean, they went after Aaron Judge. I mean, they tried getting some of these top guys.
Arson Judge.
Correa. Yeah, Arson Judge. Yeah, that's right. I mean, Correa was there for about 3 minutes too. So, yeah, I mean, they had a lot of offseason plans to kind of get these stars, and it didn't really go their way. So, I think the Giants, they've taken a step back since their 100-plus win season a couple years ago. Maybe they compete for a final wild card spot. I don't know. I think they're going to hang right around 81, 82 wins. I don't see them really going too far, especially with the Padres and Dodgers in this division. And I think the Diamondbacks are still a little ways away. I think they're still kind of in a rebuilding phase over there. And I think the Rockies are so bad, but the Diamondbacks, they're not that great either. So I think the Diamondbacks hang around probably like 76, 77 wins, if that. They improve a little bit, but
yeah, but
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think they're two extremely mediocre baseball teams.
Yeah,
but in two different ways. I think, like you said, I mean, I think the Diamondbacks doing all the right things. They got the young guys. They got your Corbin Carrolls. Christian Walker, not a player that's talked about. Oh my God, he hit 36 bombs last year. People don't talk and won a Gold Glove
in
as
Arizona.
Well. right. No, 100%, and he won a Gold Glove last year. I think in Fangraphs, he's their 22nd ranked overall player in baseball. So there you go. And they added Lourdes Gurriel Jr. It's a little pop in the lineup. And the rotation's not bad, man. You got Gallen, you got Merrill Kelly. Mad Bum's a little older, but he's not pitching absolutely terribly. No. You had Zach Davies over there. They're going to be an interesting one to me, man. To watch just in general. But difference between them and the Giants is that the D-backs are building for the future. The Giants, to me, I don't really get the Giants. Like they signed some players that I think they think that can really help them try to get back to those like 100-win seasons that they had a couple of years ago, which I thought was a fluke. But because when they signed Correa, I thought it was a stupid move for them. I thought it was a really dumb move. I thought that the way that their roster is constructed, and I just didn't make sense to me. And they don't have Correa anymore, but to me, they're still just a mediocre baseball team. They're just mediocre. I really like Logan Webb. I like some other guys there in the rotation that have had kind of peaks and valleys during their careers. But there's not too much after that, man. You got, like I said, Logan Webb, you got your Camilo Duvals, and you got I think they got both of the twins, the Rogers twins. I don't know, man. To me, like both just hover around 75 to 80 wins. And you can flip back and forth there. Maybe the D-backs surprise a little bit, maybe get 80, 81 wins or something like that, but both mediocre.
No, yeah, I think we're in lockstep there. And yeah, before we get into the Dodgers and Padres, because I know that's the talk of this division, Dodgers, according to Vegas Insider, 96.5 wins are over under, 93 for the Padres, 93.5, 81.5 for the Giants, 74.5 for the D-backs, and the Rockies are 65.5, according to Vegas Insider. They're over under. So that's maybe kind of right. Top might be a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about the top here. I mean, Nick, I'm just gonna say it, like the Padres, I really do think that the Gavin Lux injury is a big blow. I think we all agree. We both agree here. I think baseball fans agree that, I mean, and there's really nobody out there for the Dodgers to get, even if they wanted to add some, like, they might add some depth and get like a Jose Iglesias or somebody like that. But like, it's going to be Miguel Rojas probably, and split some time between Chris Taylor, and he's probably going to play a little outfield too. I think the Lux injury is really going to be big for both the Dodgers and the Padres. I still think it's going to be a closer race, but I think now that Lux is out, I just think the Padres are too loaded in that lineup. I'm really excited for Tatis to get back and be able to watch. Oh my God, that lineup's going to be insane. Hopefully Soto gets back to being Soto. And I mean, Machado signs a big extension. He's been one of the best players in baseball since he's come into the league. Jake Cronenworth, like, that lineup's just so loaded. And the pitching too. I mean, we're gonna talk about it in a few minutes, but Joe Musgrove hurts his toe. Lifting weights. Like I said, we're gonna get into that, but I still like their pitching, man. Like, I like Musgrove. They got Snell, Darvish. That fifth starter spot's gonna be weird. I don't know who they're looking at, whether it's Ryan Weathers, whether it's someone else that they're gonna be looking through their depth. I really think it's the Lux injury is big, man. I really think if they wanted to stay on par with the Padres offensively, it's just not gonna happen now.
Yeah. Listen, I think the Padres are going to win this division. I really do believe that. Especially the Lux injury going down. I mean, that's gigantic for the Dodgers losing him. I mean, batting 276 in that lineup. He's out for the year. I mean, now they're going to have some issues there at shortstop, kind of mixing and matching, right? Lose a little bit of that depth that they've had in the past. The Padres, I mean, you didn't even mention Xander Bogaerts is now in that lineup.
Yeah, I meant to say Bogaerts. He's in the middle of that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he's there. I mean, Kim's come along. He's become a pretty good player for them. He's become underrated. A solid player. I think he's very underrated. So I think that Padres lineup is going to be ridiculous this season, especially if they stay healthy. If everyone stays on the field, yeah, I think the Padres win this division. I think they can get close to 100 wins this year because they also have a pretty good rotation too. So I think the Padres are probably should be the favorites now. Beforehand, it was, like I mentioned, it was the Dodgers and then the Padres. Now the Lux injury, that changes things a little bit. And listen, the Padres just got better this offseason. They added, they got Juan Soto last year. They're going all in. Small market team, finally spending big. I don't know where all this money's coming from, but they have it apparently. So
Peter Seidler.
Yeah, man, it's insane. So I think the Padres are going to be a team to watch this year. I think they should be favorites to get back to the NLCS once again because that lineup's loaded. They have the pitching to do it as well. The back end of the bullpen, pretty solid too. I think the Padres are a team that is going to be dangerous. They should be at the top, if not the favorites in the NL this year. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and I think another thing for the Dodgers too is, like, can Kershaw stay healthy? I haven't even checked to see if what's going on with Walker Buehler. Is he going to be? Is he even? I don't know. Is he still hurt? I'm looking at what's going on with him. I'm looking at Fangraphs, their roster resource projected injury list, and it is Walker Buehler there.
He's not. I think
he had TJ. Yeah. He had T. Yeah. Oh, is he out? He might be. Yeah, I think he's out for the season because his injury, the surgery date was August 23rd of last year. Yeah. He's not coming back.
No.
He might come back late in the season, but I mean, they're gonna have. You're not planning on having Walker Buehler there. I mean, you still have Kershaw. I mean, he's 35. Kershaw's 35. I think he's sitting the World Baseball Classic out. Julio Urias, Gonsolin, who was really good last year.
Dodgers will still probably make the playoffs, but
yeah, for sure. But I don't
think they're gonna win a division.
Right. I think like you said, with I could see them probably winning like between 88 to 93 games, probably in that.
I think that's fair.
90,
I think it's
90.
fair for the Dodgers this year. I think it's fair for the Dodgers. I think the Padres. I think where Vegas Insider had 96.5 for the Dodgers, I think it should flip 93.5 with the Padres. I think it should flip there. I think the Padres could go over 96.5 wins.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll start here. I'll go down the list and I'll let you you do your win-loss prediction as well. So I'd probably say Padres will win. I'll say 98 games. So Padres 98. I'll go Dodgers 89. I will go. I'm gonna go. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say the Diamondbacks take a step. They're gonna win 80 games this year. They're gonna win 80, and then I'm gonna have the Giants at about 77. So close there, and then the Rockies at like 65. Sure. That's what Pagoda had.
I like it.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are our AL and NL West, little outlooks, predictions, whatever you want to call it. So, like I said, go check out our Central predictions last episode. And obviously, next episode, we're going to talk about the two best divisions probably in baseball. Really excited. Obviously, us, me and Nick as Phillies fans, and also the teams in both divisions are really exciting to talk about. So can't wait to talk about that next week. But Nick, let's wrap up the show. Kind of alluded to it in our little NL West prediction there. Joe Musgrove comes out that Joe Musgrove. I kind of feel bad too. I want to say that. I know we're going to talk about certain injuries and stuff, but Joe Musgrove injures his left toe, I believe, somewhere on that left foot, right?
Drop the weight on it.
He's a big man. Look, man, he's got more than this. I'll tell you that. He's got a lot more than that.
Whoa. I did not sign up for this. Did not sign up for this.
Look at all that. You see that? That was beautiful.
I wish I didn't. That's 10 seconds. I'll never get
my back. Wade Boggs Rays jersey. But so
got the Blue Rocks
I'll let you finish here, Nick. So he dropped the weight on his foot. I mean, look, the guy's not going to be ready possibly for opening day. He's not going to be out for the season, but I guess the Padres, miss some time possibly. So Padres might have to, get some depth in there for starting pitching. So.
Yeah, I think, and it kind of sparked our imagination a little bit because it is, you always hear these goofy injuries in baseball. So it made us think, right, Francisco, with Musgrove dropping the weight on his toe, his big toe, going to miss a little bit of time. What are some of the goofiest injuries we could find that have happened in sports or Major League Baseball? It doesn't matter. I think we both went just with Major League Baseball, but Francisco, let me hear your first one. We'll each give two goofy injuries you have found and researched.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with me. I'm actually this is totally improv. Before I get to my two, when I was like 11, I don't know what I did to it. I did something to like my right pinky, right? This is right before I was about to play travel ball. Like my last ever baseball stint, whatever. And I did something to my pinky. I forget. I don't know what happened. I was at my friend's house, like down the street, and we were playing with like Nerf guns or like water guns or something. Right? It was a hot summer day, and I don't know if it got caught under a tire or what. I forget what happened. But I had it had to have been like a sprained pinky for like a month or two because every time I tried to catch the ball, I remember my left hand. It was on my left hand because I tried to catch the ball, and it would kill every time I tried to catch the ball, bro. Every time I hated having to go play baseball because I love baseball, but I hated having to try to catch the ball and even swing the bat because I would swing the bat and every time the ball hit the bat, boom, it would hurt my pinky. So I'm sorry. I know that was kind of just
you got it stuck under a tire.
I don't remember, man. I'm being real with you. I don't remember. And at the time I didn't know either. I was like, what happened?
Did you jam it or did you sprain it? Did you jam
it hurt. Listen, it hurt for no. There's no way I just jammed it because it hurt for like a month or two. Like it finally went away.
I mean, he could have just jammed it.
Yeah, but you okay?
I could,
Hold on. You could jam something and it goes away in like 2 hours. That's different. Nah.
I mean, I've like messed up most of my fingers anyway. Like they're all crooked pretty much. So at some point I'm gonna have arthritis in my life. So old man Nick over here, gonna have arthritis in his fingers because they're all crooked. So I've bent them backwards playing basketball, baseball. Oh, dude, it's brutal. I've had splints on like every finger. So
Damn,
your
I'm
tire
sorry.
story is pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid. I'm sorry. I just had to interject there. So, real injuries that have happened, real ones, right? Because I might have just jammed my finger. Who knows if it was a real injury? Um, we all remember this, and like in recent memory, this is probably one of the funnier ones. I'm just gonna start with this. Devin Williams, after the Milwaukee Brewers win the National League Central Division title, Devin Williams punches. He's a young pitcher. He's incredible. He's got great stuff. We both know this. Punches a wall, I believe, after they were celebrating. He was only had a couple beers. I mean, shout out to the lightweights, man. I'm a lightweight. Shout out to the lightweights. Punches the wall and he breaks, right? He punched it. And I don't know if he broke his pinky, whatever. He didn't break his pinky. I broke my pinky. He broke whatever he broke, whatever it was on his hand, and he couldn't go for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they lost.
Yeah, yes, they did. They lost. He was out, and after celebrating, sometimes you gotta relax when you're celebrating a little bit. You can go a little too hard, and clearly he did. I got one for you. Ricky Henderson. He during his career got frostbite in the middle of August. He fell asleep with an ice pack on his foot, which gave him frostbite, and then he missed 3 games. He missed 3 games because of frostbite in the middle of August.
Only Ricky, though.
How does
Only
that
Ricky.
happen?
Only Ricky.
Only Ricky.
Look, Ricky is one of the greatest.
He is.
We'll let it happen. So, love
Let
Ricky.
it slide, right?
Let it slide. A little frostbite from an ice pack.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
You're a smart guy.
No pun intended. How about that?
Funny.
How about
You're funny.
that?
You're funny. How about that? All right. So, I guess I'll go to my next one. 2010. Remember Kendrys Morales on the Angels?
Yes.
Hits a walk-off home run from the left side. He was a switch hitter. Breaks his left ankle during the home run celebration going into, goes to home plate. Everyone's there to greet him. Yeah, let's go, everybody. Let's go. Lands on his left foot, jumps on the home plate, lands on his left foot. Everyone's like, what is happening? He needs the trainer, all that. He needs the trainer. And, and then he misses the rest of the 2010 season and all of 2011. So there you go. In a home run celebration, misses a year and a half. So I thought that was one of the funnier ones.
I remember that one. I remember that was that's a great one because I do remember that. And wow, on a walk-off home run, like you're gonna end your season. It's just wild. It's just wild. So I have to end us. It was our West Division preview today. So we did the AL and NL West. So I'm going back to 2014 San Francisco Giants. Matt Cain, pitcher. He was a great pitcher for the Giants for a long time,
Absolutely.
right? Went on the 15-day DL because of this. He cut his right index finger. Now, you think a cut, all right, put a Band-Aid on. No. He had to go on the 15-day DL because he cut himself with a knife. He was trying to make a ham and cheese sandwich in his kitchen. He dropped his knife and tried to catch it and cut his finger. He cut his finger, landed him on the 15-day DL. And the reasoning he gave for the way he was cutting his sandwich, he was trying to cut it into triangles. He was trying to get all fancy on us.
Do you do that, Nick? I do that.
I don't. I go just straight down the middle.
Switch it up, bro. I know. I used to do the same thing, but I triangle and I go down the middle.
Straight down the middle. He's like, I went to cut it. This was a quote from him. I went to cut it to make it in fancy triangles. Dropped the knife, cut his finger on the 15-day. I think that's one of the most ridiculous ones I've ever heard.
That's wild. I respect it because I probably would do the same thing.
Hey, you're getting your pinky stuck under tires. So,
Nick, if I miss 2 weeks of work anytime in the future,
you're
gonna know why.
I'm gonna have to make sure you can't go into the kitchen at work or anything because who knows what could happen in there? Who knows? Who knows?
Look, man, most of the time I'm just getting coffee in the kitchen. All right.
Thank goodness.
They got some. Well, you like the coffee at work? I like the coffee.
It's okay. It's not bad.
Yeah,
I
it's
usually
fine.
get my coffee from home on the way. I drink it on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you make coffee at home?
I do. I have a Keurig, one of those Keurigs.
Gotcha.
Shout out Keurig.
So you're basic,
Yeah, pretty much.
right?
Pretty
Basic
much.
Nick.
Yeah, basic Nick, young Nick, TikTok Nick, whatever you want to go with.
We already got 4 nicknames for you off the bat.
I got more.
Nick, always, it's only been 2 episodes, but obviously doing these are very fun. And, 2 episodes down, of course. Also, go make sure you check out our YouTube channel, man, because this will be up there. Our last episode will be up there. Also, I do a video a week, and go make sure that you check out the last video I did on a player. We decided to look at a player. We talk about a lot of players that will benefit from the new rules this year. I wanted to talk about a player that wasn't necessarily going to benefit. Maybe the opposite. He was going to take a step back because of the new rules. So go watch that video to find out. I thought it was a really interesting one. And we've seen a change already with him in spring because of the new rules. So go watch that, the Shift Baseball on YouTube. And make sure that wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Google Podcasts, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff, Nick, they better go check it out. Do you agree?
They got to. They got to.
They have
Apple
to.
Podcast, Spotify, wherever you're going to find us, we'll be there. We'll be there to talk baseball. Go on the YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. Follow, share, Instagram, Twitter. We put our stuff out on our own Twitter, Instagram, The Shift. You can follow us right down there. We have our stuff right down there.
Wait, is TikTok on there too?
It's going across. Oh, what's that?
Is TikTok on there too?
TikTok, I got to add it to it. But
That's
follow
okay.
us on TikTok too. We got the extra.
Please.
It was an extra underscore, right? The extra underscore.
Yeah, the underscore shift on. I think. Wow, I
the
forgot
shift
already.
Underscore. Yeah,
I forgot already.
Before we it's the extra underscore. Yeah,
yeah.
But we'll be on TikTok. But
yeah, make sure you check out our TikToks. Nick does a really good job of. Oh my God, it's playing. Nick does a really good job of putting the shift TikToks up there. The underscore shift underscore. Please follow us. We will definitely follow back. Nick does a really good job with those TikToks, of course. And I post them on Instagram every now and then. So I'm going to do that as well. We're going to be having a lot of those for you in the next couple of days. And I think that's about it, Nick. I think that's about it. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we talked about it in the beginning of the show. Next show is going to be a World Baseball Classic preview. We're super psyched for that. We hope you are too. So that's going to do it for today. And we will see you guys early next week.